Dimension W is a sci-fi action series set within a futuristic utopia where humans have found the fourth dimension and using something they call coils to extract pure energy from it. It's clean and it's limitless. However, our protagonist Kyoma is a bit skeptical of this new form of energy. Kyoma is an enthusiast and collector of old technology. It's pretty ironic that what provides the funds for collecting his relics is actually working with this new form of energy itself. Kyoma is an independent contractor who goes out on missions to retrieve illegal coils, and within the first episode, we're introduced to this strange android, Miss Mira No Nipples, because, well, she doesn't have any nipples. From here, it's only natural that the hipster Kyoma teams up with Mira to go out and handle some pretty mysterious cases involving this energy. Dimension W is the type of show which I think would be most appealing to people who mostly enjoy anime for its visuals, or its flashy combat, or its tits with no nipples. I mean, hey, this is the internet, there's a fetish for everything. And I think anyone else who mostly enjoys anime for its story would probably find Dimension W to be mostly average and definitely forgettable. This story is split into two halves, the first of which contains its character introductions, which were lackluster. Kyoma is just a one-dimensional eccentric hermit who jumps around defying gravity throwing darts. There's little we learn about his personality outside of the fact that he just doesn't trust modern tech. As for Mira, she is actually the most interesting character within the show, and that really isn't saying a lot. Mira is a sheltered android who's attempting to cope with human interaction, which actually can lead to some funny comedic relief as well as a bit of internal struggles for her character as well. The remainder of the first half of the story revolves around several missions regarding this Dimension W, but to better understand these missions, it would probably be best if I attempt to explain what Dimension W actually is. Wish me luck. Basically how this works is people have coils which draw energy through this other dimension, but there are some special coils which can draw a different type of energy that's not electricity through them, which would be basically comparable to spiritual energy, which can really do anything the writer wants it to do. It's a MacGuffin that can make it do anything from powering a remote control over to trapping the memories of the dead and creating a realm of ghosts on Earth. Yes, it is exactly as ridiculous as it sounds, and they think that they can make up for this by throwing around a lot of techno jargon and their new Tesla energy and everything, but with every passing episode, it feels more like the script is written by four stoners playing an ad-lib word game after watching Star Trek. While in theory this may sound comical, it quickly becomes tiring, especially when, for the first half of the anime, every single episode, we're met with this poor attempted exposition and explaining what new Tesla energy actually is. And we also have to look at this. This picture is how they try and explain what the fourth dimension actually is, this Dimension W, and I don't think I need to point out that on their graph W is on the same plane as X. Additionally, the graph has nothing to do with dimensions the way they think it does. If we assume that a 10-year-old drew this out of some sort of wild fantasy of theirs, then that would be perfectly fine. But when we consider the fact that the mangaka, the publicist, and everyone over at Studio 3 Hertz who worked on Dimension W looked at this graph and said, you know what, that is okay, let's do exactly that. And they're all adults. Stay in school, kids. Just saying. The second half of Dimension W focuses on one larger conflict which attempts to explain a bit more about what Dimension W is and new Tesla energy, a bit more behind the scenes here. Of course, we know it doesn't make any sense, and also we get a bit of information about Kyoma's past as well. Of the two halves, I would have to say that with Kyoma's backstory and everything, the second half of Dimension W is much more tolerable than the first half, but it doesn't really redeem the show. Oh, and to top it all off, there's also a Deus Ex ending as well, so they just can't win for losing here with this one. Dimension W's saving grace, however, was its presentation, because this was absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed the vibrant colors, and they used CG fairly well here. Not many times anime use CG fairly well. It was noticeable, but it didn't stand out like a sore thumb. Dimension W earns a 5 out of 10, keeping in mind that it had beautiful presentation, and that's 20% of the score, so the story alone would have been about a 3. Let me know your thoughts about Dimension W in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. How dare you speak ill of Mira here? Mira is a pure goddess. She's much more pure than any of you filthy humans out there with your nipples. Look at you. You ought to be ashamed.